Hey guys, what's up, and welcome back to another episode of Robot Rumble 2. We have just hit episode 4, where we came off of creating a wedge-styled robot, and in today's episode, we are going to be creating a flipping robot. I haven't made a flipper robot yet in this game, and I know for a fact that it's going to be different from what I have been doing in previous episodes. So with that being said, don't expect this robot to be the best, but I'm going to be saying that for every single robot, so I guess take that with a grain of salt. So let's jump right into this and create our robot. So we are here in the robots lab, and I have a comment from the previous episode left by Blue Ash saying, for a flipper robot, how about one that has a flipper far out front of it so that it can flip a robot from a safe distance, though I'm not sure how practical that is. Call it social distancing. I fell in love with this idea. I'm gonna be honest. I love this idea. This is one of my favorite ideas so far that the comments have left for me. So thank you so much, Blue Ash, for leaving that comment. That is a funny idea, and I love that. I have some great ideas to throw into this for cosmetics, but we'll get into that very later on in this episode. But for now, we are going to come up with a wedge shape, and I kind of have a good idea with what I want to do. This robot, obviously, hence being called social distancing, I need to somehow get it so the flipper is way out in front of the actual chassis itself. So I'm going to make a flat, kind of like this. Kind of like something, yeah, this would be perfect. So I'm going to be using this flat part up front for the actual front of the robot. I need 2 layers, of course, and I'm doing what I did in the last episode, where I'm going to be making this completely flat, and we're going to be using it like this. So here we go, we're going to be jumping into this robot, which is called social distancing. Alright, so I'm going to be doing a dark blue color. That's the goal. I have not yet done a blue color for any robots, and I'm kind of curious to see how that's going to come out. So the first thing that I have to jump into for a flipper robot is instead of a motor, because we're not doing an electric flipper, we're going to be using what they call a flipper system. And I'm not exactly sure how they work, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to place it down, and if you don't know how anything works, best thing to do is just place it down on the robot, go over to the control, find where it is, and go over to this. So you see that it kind of pushes behind where we want it to go, so we're going to rotate this around. Now my idea for this robot is going to be very weird. I really have no way of explaining it. So it's going to be kind of like this. So we should get a robot that kind of flips like maybe, oh boy, actually I might have to switch that around. So what I'm doing right now is I'm placing, I'm not sure if I have this correct, I might have to change this around in the future, but I'm just going to put it down like this. I think it might actually have to go this way, but we'll see. I'm not 100% sure. But what I'm going to be doing is placing the wedge of the flipper and having it arc down in front of the robot, and then having a straight big old thing on flat on the ground. So I'm going to do that, and then we're going to kind of test it out to see how it truly works. Okay, so this is obviously a test. It looks awful right now. This isn't what it's going to look like. This is me kind of messing around with it. I wanted to see where this flipper is going to bring this thing. So it's going to bring it directly up. So that's perfect. We got it in a good spot. And now what I want to test out is this. If we can angle it somehow like that, and let's just say we rotate this a little bit better, bring it back up. Let me just get it perfect. If this has any control. Oh, okay. So we got it. We got it in a good spot right now. I think this is going to be good. So I'm going to get rid of all of these, actually. And I'm going to start working on it now, actually, because I didn't do anything yet. This was me just strictly messing around with this robot. So my plan from here, now that we actually have the robot and we have the actual flipper system, and we got the front of the robot set and everything, we are going to be adding the actual wedges of the flipper first. Now, I'm going to kind of that was a rough draft of what I wanted to do. I'm going to have a bar that goes down, and then another bar that goes down again, like diagonally, and then another bar that's flat. And that flat one on the ground in front of it is going to be the longest bar of them all. It's going to have a bunch of distance, and I gotta somehow keep this so we're not going overweight on the flipper. I am hoping that because we're adding a bunch of components to the flipper itself, that we're not going to be going overweight. So I'm going to be setting this as a somewhat light material, which I don't know what would, aluminum maybe? I might go aluminum, and we could always go down from there. But I'm going to make that. I'm going to make this. Blue goes really well with blue and gold. Yeah, blue and gold. I mean, that's not really gold. Hold on. I'm going to Google a gold color, a nice gold color of the... Oh, it changed again! Fuck you! And that seems like it's connected good. This, it looks stupid right now. But it's gonna be a wrecking ball, guys, trust me. So the end result is going to be that, which seems pretty good to me. I kind of like that a lot, actually. So let's just see how it works, first of all. I'm going to get this as thin as possible for now. We can always thicken it later. And we're going to add in the wheels and all that fun stuff real quick, and then we're going to jump into testing it all out. So I'm going to add the wheels. Now, I have an idea with this robot. And this chassis isn't going to be the actual entire robot. I'm going to be adding exterior chassis to this where a bar is going to be coming out covering all of the wheels, and it's going to be surrounding the entire robot. That's the plan, at least for now. Of course, that is probably going to change in the future. So there's the wheels of a robot. We got to figure out where to put the tanks, which I'm most nervous about, because putting in tanks are debatably the worst parts for a robot that uses gasoline and all that fun stuff. So we got to go over to power and go over to tanks. Now we can obviously use a 2, which I might have to do. So what we need is we need a gas tank, we need a buffer tank, and then we need a CO2 exhaust, and that might be it, actually. So I'm going to try to fit in this 2 one right here. I'm going to have it at somewhat of an angle as well with the flipper, because I'm planning on having a somewhat tall back head robot. So we got the gas and we got the buffer in, which go off of each other. So that's good so far. We have plenty of room in the back where I'm actually going to put the exhaust right here. I might actually get to squeeze that in somewhere else. I'll put that last, actually, because we still need to get in our batteries and everything still. So let's get that in. Let's get the receiver in, kind of tuck it away down there. Let's get some ESCs in, and what I'm going to do is quite simple for these because we're just running off of amp flows. From there, we need a pneumatic control valve. We only need one though. And I might just put that back here in the back. Go over to power. We still need batteries. And I kind of want to use these little bad boys. So we can probably fit in a couple of these ones. I think 4 would be perfect. So there we go. And all we have left to do, I believe, is just add in the CO2 exhaust, which we can easily just fit in right here. So this robot's coming together. I think that's all the stuff we need. So I'm going to hook it up so we can give it some testing. So I'm here in the testing box and I got it all running. And the moment of truth is the flipper, it works. So that's good. We got the flipper. However, I have a couple of things to say. This flipper is not long enough, meaning it's not social distancing enough. That's my first take on it. My other take is I don't think it has hitbox registry yet. So let's just move over to this cone. As you can see, it's just blending through this. I don't know why it is. That's really weird to me. Like, we can just drive through the wall right there. And then we get stuck. So let's figure out what's wrong with this material. It might just be aluminum. Let's move this to Hardox and see if that works. Nope, still doing the same thing. So let's make it thicker. Nope, still doing that. I might have to make this thicker itself. So let's see if this helps at all. Nope, that does not work either. Okay, so I guess I figured it out. Alright, so I got it. I think I got it at least. I guess I got it. I'm not sure yet. I'm very curious why it isn't working how I think it is. So, I learned that the thickness matters with whatever you're using. So let's go back to aluminum for now. For this, we're back at aluminum. Now let's go to 1. We clip through. So let's go a little bit higher than 1. And we don't clip through anymore. Very interesting. Very interesting. Okay, so we just gotta stay above 1 millimeter in thickness on this part, for all of these parts actually. So this part doesn't have hitbox, so let's bring that up. We actually don't even need that. This one's fine, we could actually bring this down a little bit. My curiosity is striking me right here. Why do we not have that oomph? You know, we want that oomph. So there we go. That's our flipper so far. I'm going to be adding designs to this, of course. I wish we can tell if this was 6 feet or not, because I really want to make this 6 feet distancing. I feel like that would be really funny. I'm not sure there is a measurement of, or any source of measurement in this game yet, but we can always figure that out in the later episodes or whatever, because I think that would be hilarious. Okay, so I've been thinking. I took a little bit of a break, kind of like looked around, kind of thought about what I needed to do in this, and I have an idea now, and I hope it works, but I'm not exactly sure if it will. This flipper isn't going to perform well. Just because when I say that, let's just bring in a crate. When I drive, if you guys can notice right here, watch this, it'll lift. So I can't fully get under. Whoa, that was a weird little glitch. I can't fully get under. But when I flip, I can actually flip the bot really well. With doing that, something I just learned right now is if you want more pressure, let's just say we go bring it up to 1,000. We can flip the bot really crazy. Of course, it uses more gas to it. So let's bring that down to like 290 and see how this works. Let's just spawn in a 100 kilogram crate, kind of test it out. I want to have enough pressure to pop it up. We'll be messing with this later, of course, but for now, I'm not in love with this design, and I'm not exactly sure how to exactly do what I want, because I was thinking about adding a hinge to this right here, but then let's just say I do that. Let's just try it out real quick. Now here's my only concern. It's gonna be limp. It's gonna be a limp boy. And we don't want that. So maybe if we use a spring. I don't know exactly what that does. Oh, the spring can work. Okay, so let's try that with 100 kilogram real quick. Oh, yes, we figured it out. Perfect. So I'm gonna do this a lot nicer, of course. And I'm thinking about getting rid of this whole thing right here, because I know I can do it better. Anyways, I'll be messing around with this. There's not going to be any promises that this is going to work out exactly how I want it to. But I guess we will always see, right? I think I got something that I somewhat like. It kind of looks like a, I'm not even going to say. I'll take it. I have to keep moving this robot back. I don't know what that says about this experiment, but I'm not in love with this buffer thing yet. I think I'm just going to have it at 500 even for now, just to see how it is. But I added a little scoop up front, like a little wedge, so it can get underneath easier. And, oh boy. Okay, I mean, I guess it's working. It's getting caught a little bit. We still don't have enough power to flip. We're just pushing ourselves at this point. But if we spawn in a DB, which I don't even know how much this weighs, like maybe 10 kilograms, we could probably launch this thing pretty far, which I'm happy with. Yeah. Okay. The only thing, so here's a little wedge right here that I added to kind of scoop things up. And then I added kind of an oval, kind of half circle, I think is what it was called. And other than that, it looks like a cool robot so far. It definitely has potential. It's kind of like a little egg catcher right here. So the first thing that I want to do with this robot is to add a barrier block on top of both of these tanks that somewhat connect to the actual flipper part right here. So the next thing that I want to do is add a little plate on the front of the robot, about right here. So this part is definitely going to be the most time consuming in my opinion with this, just because I'm trying to get a perfect layout for this robot. And it's going to be an interesting design. I have kind of a decent idea with what I want to do. At least I can't put it in terms. That's my only problem right now. I'm literally just sitting here, by the way. I'm just sitting here just working, and I haven't been talking at all, and that's not good content, of course, but I'm trying to focus really hard on this. I have such a cool idea. I'm going to tell it to you guys now, and hold it for a grain of salt, like I said, just because it might not come out exactly how I'm thinking. But I'm going to have eyes right here. I know there's googly eyes somewhere. Where are they at? Yeah. I'm going to do something like this. Okay. Yeah, that works already. And then I'm going to have a mouth right here with a mask covering it. So it looks like it's a social distancing person. And I'm going to have a couple 2020s everywhere because that's when the outbreak actually started of the pandemic itself. And in case anyone doesn't know, social distancing, 6 foot distancing, everybody should know this. I'm not going to explain this. Everybody should know what social distancing means. If you don't, just go outside, I guess. Go outside and see. Don't go outside. Stay inside. But Google going outside, right? That might be, I don't know. Try something. Just do something about it. Don't do anything about it. Stay inside. So I don't have the wheel covers yet, but I have the motor covers for the wheels that are going to be stemming out around the entire thing. And I have a design for the back of the robot also, just to prevent it from flipping itself over more often than not. We're getting there. It's definitely a work in progress. It's an ugly robot. It looks like it has a giant nose, and that's what I like the most about it. Like, it's just... So these are the eyebrows. These are the eyes. This is a whole nose, and then this is the mustache. That's the robot, guys. That's the robot. That's the entire robot. I'm done making it. It's beautiful robot with this big old mustache. What's that one Pokemon name? It's where what Nosepass evolves into. It looks just like it. Put up a picture. That's what it looks like. Put it next to each other. It's the same thing. I made that in a robot. I did it, guys. Don't you worry. So I've been messing around with this robot for quite a bit. I've actually spent over 2 hours doing this so far, and I'm far from finished, as you can tell. I'm going to take a break from this and kind of work on it after, like, just a little bit off camera for this, just because I've been working on this for so long now. I'll be back in seconds for you, but possibly hours or days for me, and I'll get back to you when this robot is almost complete. So I'll see you guys in a bit. Okay, so I'm back, and there's been a lot of changes, as you can tell. My favorite part, let me just start out and say, I'm in love with what's happening right now. I'm in love with what's happening. But let me show you guys everything so far. I left this robot almost hollow in a way where I didn't build chassis extending everywhere. So like there's little holes right here, of course. And I didn't put a panel right here. I just felt like it wasn't needed for this build, especially I got really close to the threshold of 110 kilograms. See, I'm a stupid American. I said it already. So let's go on this testing real quick, and I want to show you how good this thing is so far. So drop in the 100 kilogram crate. I just want to show you how far this thing will fly. Well, that's a bad example. Look at that. Look at that. Yeah, this thing is killing it. I love this thing. And we can get rid of another crate, get out of here. This robot is the real deal. As you can tell, almost everything's done. But I saved a few things left for this robot that I really wanted to do with you guys. And I actually already made all the custom shapes for it, but I wanted to do it and I just place it all. So this all right here is a custom shape. I did the mask. I kind of made the eyebrows or whatever I'm going to call this into a frown, so it looks more aggressive with the googly eyes. And then I My whole goal for this robot is to specifically just show everything that happened in the 2020 era, if you will. I want to get the masks in, of course, because that was a huge deal when the pandemic first struck. And now I have a bunch of different things here, if you can kind of tell a few about them. One of them, which I'm going to be placing on this wedge, is I got a 6 FT, so 6 foot. And then I'm going to have, oh, hello, Luna, this thing, which is kind of like 6 foot distance, you know? So let's place all this down. I feel like this is going to be a kind of fun idea. Oh, this is going to be funny. This is, oh, my cat. Oh, this is going to be funny. Yeah. 6 feet distance. Let's keep that distance. I like that a lot. Okay, perfect. So from there, I don't know if you guys saw, there's a few extra custom shapes. I have a 2, I have a bunch of 2s, and I have a bunch of 0s. Meaning 2020, baby. It's the year. Oh, I'm really enjoying this robot. I don't know why, something about it is just so fun. Oh, that's good. Just some detail for this bot. And then I'm definitely going to add a 2020 back here. That's a plan that I'm having. We still have 7 kilograms to mess with. Let's go to materials, color this bad boy up, and we are almost done with this episode. I know. It wasn't a typical episode. This was my first flipper, so it took me a long time to figure out the exact mechanics of everything. I didn't truly understand how to do everything, but the whole purpose of this episode was specifically to get comfortable with how to make robots that can perform well and not suck, especially with a flipper. Alright, that looks so good. The blocking, I'm going to add another 2020 back here. Then we're going to add some nuts and bolts as well while we're here. And I'm thinking about just keeping them the same color, because you can add nuts and bolts and change the colors of them. But I don't really see us needing to have a different color. So let's just start adding them, because it's my favorite time of the day. Nut and bolt time. Nut and bolts for everybody. Anybody need a nut and bolt? Because I got a bunch of nut and bolts right here. Nut and bolt right there. That don't need a nut and bolt. We could add a nut and bolt right here. Nut and bolt right here. 2 more nut and bolts. I'm giving out nut and bolts for free today, guys. It's a non-stop nut and bolt day. We could actually add that right there. A nut and bolt. Maybe a nut and bolt right here, too. Let's add 2 more nut and bolts. Look at these nut and bolts. They look great. Should we get some nut and bolts on the wedge itself? I think some nut and bolts belong right here. Boom, nut and bolts. Nut and bolts for days. 2 nut and bolts up here. Aye, aye, Captain. Nut and bolts. I'm really liking this robot, though. Nut and bolt on the pupils? That'd be weird. No more nuts and bolts. I'm getting too crazy with nut and bolts. Oh, I need some nut and bolts on these, though. Other than that, no more nuts and bolts. I'm cutting myself off from nuts and bolts. I'm cut off. And this is our finalized robot. Social distancing, a flipper robot that needs to keep the distance, because if a robot gets within 6 feet, it's gonna be flying. It's definitely gonna be flying. Oh, I love it. I love it, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed this episode. I know it was a very different one from usual. I really enjoyed this episode specifically because of this flipper. I'm not sure exactly what type of robot I gotta make in the next episode, but I'll have it in the comments below. I'll leave a little stamp, a little comment down, and I want you guys to please leave a comment, because it means a lot to me. I don't even care if you like or dislike the video. As long as you guys are leaving comments, it'll make my day. So with that being said, I hope you guys are having a fantastic weekend, weekday, whatever it may be. Other than that, keep your social distancing, because this Pandy D is almost over, and once we're there, we're good, guys. Other than that, have a good rest of your day.